Alright, so anytime we have these intersecting lines like this, two lines cutting across each other, we're going to have four angles created. We're going to have four of these little sections cut out. The two that are across from each other, the matching angles across from each other, are called vertical angles. Okay, so these two blue ones, this angle and this angle, are vertical angles. They're congruent angles. They're matching. They're going to be exactly the same angle. Next to those, we have these tan angles, which are also vertical. We know they're going to be equal, but we have to figure out how we're going to really find out the number for those angles, the actual degrees. So we know that going across, this straight line going across is 180 degrees. These two added together are supplementary angles. They would add up to 180, so that means this has to be 50 degrees. We could subtract the 130 from 180. That would tell us that it's 50. This is a vertical angle to that, so we know that has to be 50. All the way around this circle is 360 degrees. That's the number of degrees in a complete rotation. And you can see that. You can always check your answer by just making sure that your four angles add up to 360. Alright, so here we're looking for the missing angles. The easiest one is going to be the one that's directly across from the 120. This one, directly across from it. This angle has to be the exact same angle, so that has to be 120. The other two, we know that these two together, this 120 and this angle down here, has to add up to 180. We know that this one and this one are also equal. So once we find one of them, we'll actually have both of them. We know that these two add up to 180, so that has to be 60. The remaining part has to be 60. That's 180 minus 120. And if that's 60, that other yellow one is also 60. Alright, on the next one we're asked to name a pair of vertical angles. So here I'm just going to say them. 2 and 4 are vertical, and 1 and 3 are vertical. Those are the two pairs of vertical angles. They're just pairs of angles that are across from each other. 1 and 3, 4 and 2. On this one we're looking for the angles 2 and 3. We're looking to find the measures of those, the actual degrees for those. So 3 is going to be a little bit easier. 3 is vertical to 40. We can see that those are across from each other. So those have to be the same angle. So angle 3 is a 40-degree angle. Angle 2 and angle, really this angle that we're given, this angle that's 40 degrees, add up to 180 degrees. They make this straight line together. This one plus this one together have to make that straight line. Okay, so 40 plus some x that we don't know, angle 2, add up to 180. That means angle 2 is 140. We just subtract 40 from both sides. Alright, here we're given another set of vertical angles. We're just trying to solve for x here. So we set up the equation 2x equals 96. We know that these two have to be equal to each other because they're vertical. So we set up that equation. 2x plus 6 equals 96. We would subtract 6 from both sides as our first step. We're trying to solve for that x and get that x by itself. We get rid of the 6. That gives us 2x minus 90. 2x equals 90. And then we divide by 2 on both sides, and x is 45. This we know has to be 96. So if we were to plug in 45, 2 times 45 here, that would give us 90, plus 6 would give us 96. That's just a way to check ourselves. On this one, we're looking at vertical angles again. They're across from each other. We know that they have to be equal. So we can set up the equation 2x plus 30 equals 7x minus 25. These two are directly across from each other. They're equal angles, so we can say that they're equal. This angle equals that angle. Now we're going to try to solve for both the x, and we're going to have to figure out what the angle is. So we're going to combine like terms. We're going to combine all the constants, all of these numbers, the plus 30 and the minus 25, the numbers without a variable, to one side. I'm going to do that by subtracting 30 on both sides. You could also add 25 to both sides if you wanted to bring that over to this side. Here I just decided to cancel out the 30 and that gave me minus 25 on that side. Now that means I have to bring this 7x to that side. I have to cancel out the entire term and bring it over to the other side by subtracting 7x. That gives me negative 5x on that side. It's 2 minus 7. It's negative 5x. And a negative 55 is left on this side. You then divide by negative 5 on both sides. That gives you x is positive 11. So to find the actual angles, you can just plug in 11 for either of those. And to check yourself, you actually plug them into both, and you get that 52 degrees. So that angle and that angle are both 52 degrees.